Welcome back into the Dynasty Nerds podcast. I am your host, Garrett Price, back here with Jagger May. Jagger, how you doing, buddy?
I am good. I am sad as it was not a good fantasy week for me. A lot of when you open Sleeper up, a lot of red bars, but I'm here.
That was week one for me, whatever reason. Week one, I was like, man, is this going to be one of those years? And it's chilled out. Things have been very good since then. But you know, you have those weeks where partly it could just be, you know, you have some common players that got hurt, bye weeks, some common bye weeks. It's sometimes I have like one league where I'm the number one team as far as like points for, but I'm in 8th place, you know, and you just keep playing the wrong team every week. So, you know, sometimes those kinds of things just happen. But speaking of injuries, we're going to get to these injuries real quick. You know, do you remember the days when we were like, we should draft wide receiver because running back gets hurt all the time? Do you remember those days?
Yes. The false sense of security.
Yeah. We've got a list very long of talented receivers that go in your starting lineups that are banged up right now. Let's start with Puka Nacua. Looks like a foot injury for him. He did come back into the game, but there's rumor that he might miss a week or two, depending on how things look, and which is a bummer because, I mean, he was playing at an absurd level.
Yeah, and that's one where I tell everyone now, no one's gonna sell him, but try anyway. Just try.
Sure.
Literally, I've been trying to get Malik Neighbors. I have the meme queued up of Rafi, which is like, sorry, gotta ask. It's a numbers game for me. Like literally, that's what I would do with Puka Nacua. If there's any buy window, I'm trying.
Love it. Marvin Harrison Jr. concussion. We kind of know how that goes. He'll likely miss this coming week and then be back. Unfortunate for him as well because he was getting to play in his dad's old stadium and there was, you know, all those memories and stuff. And it's like, just kidding. You're not going to get to play anymore. Emeka Egbuka, he has a hamstring injury. We'll kind of wait and see what that looks like. The fact that Baker Mayfield is doing what he is doing, just constantly losing wide receivers is absolutely absurd. That guy, if he's not the front runner for MVP, he should be. It's pretty crazy, honestly. Calvin Ridley, he's got a hamstring injury as well. That one doesn't hurt many teams very much because nobody's playing him. Garrett Wilson had a knee injury. Something I kind of want to keep an eye out for. We'll see how this one kind of plays out here. It looks like it's, from early reports, not an ACL, not an MCL, and maybe something that he could even play with next week. So we'll kind of keep an eye out, but not a great week for him overseas. So hopefully things get a little bit better. Last but not least, David Njoku, he's got a knee injury as well, likely in hyperextension, but we'll kind of wait and see what happens with the Browns tight end. Any of those other names there or somebody I didn't mention that you want to make sure that we at least throw out there as people are kind of keeping an eye on this?
Nah, I mean, it's already, the bloodbath is enough. I want to stop the bleeding. We already got other bad stuff to talk about, so let's get to the good.
Let's get to the good. I like it. Let's start with the risers of the week, and we have some players that are flying up the board, and there's specifically two guys that are top two guys I'm excited to talk about here. But let's mention some of the guys that were at least mentioned, honorable mentions, but didn't quite make the cut. AJ Barner, 3 straight weeks of 10 plus PPR points. So he's getting more involved in the Seattle offense, becoming a reliable target. I know I love Elijah Aroro, but it looks like the AJ Barner stuff is not going away. They're using him, and he's playing very, very well. Kimani Vidal stepping in for the injured Omarion Hampton. And I know there were a lot of people in the start sits asking me about Hassan Haskins. And I was like, guys, I hate starting running backs where there is not a clear hierarchy. And I do not know what the hierarchy is. It was very similar to the week before with the Cardinals, where we just don't know what the hierarchy is. And until I do, I have no desire to start a running back. So if you were bold enough to start Vidal over Haskins, it worked out very, very well. He put up over 120 yards on the ground, had the receiving touchdown. So very, very good game for him. But let's get to our number 3 riser of the week, Dallas Goedert. Dallas has been around for a minute, but he's been injured a lot. He's underperformed in an offense that doesn't have a high passing volume. But right now, it's like screw A.J. Brown, screw DeVonta Smith. I have eyes for Dallas Goedert, specifically in the end zone. He has 10-plus PPR points in each and every game this season. So when he's been on the field, he has been incredibly consistent. How are you feeling right now about Dallas Goedert? And is this a sign of things to come? Or is it just like, man, that's kind of a weird fluke? I expect him to go back to normal.
Signs of things to come is depressing. So I'm going to flip that to where it's a sign of that's what it is. Like, okay. And I don't know, it's more that this season, I don't think the play calling is very good. I feel like Philadelphia is in this weird cycle where they have one good offensive coordinator and the next season they have like a bad one. So the play calling is very predictable. It's not very good. And the only one who's benefiting is Dallas Goedert. This isn't to take away from the talent because he was a borderline handcuff mostly where you didn't want to play Goedert unless A.J. Brown or DeVonta Smith are out. But right now, especially in the red zone, they're straight up scheming him up. I remember one particular play, A.J. Brown, one-on-one man coverage on the outside. Jalen Hurts didn't even look at him for a little gimmicky play for Dallas Goedert. So, I mean, if you need to buy Goedert, you could probably buy him pretty cheap if you need a tight end and feel good through the rest of the season. But beyond the rest of the season, I still can't get myself to like rank Goedert highly as like a dynasty tight end. So.
And that's the thing. I think I'm in a very similar boat. Maybe he'll crack my top 12, but I don't see Goedert going much beyond that, 10, 11, 12 range, just because we have a large sample size of him in this offense. Now, the thing that does help him is there's a very real possibility that he is not on this team next year. He could be on a new offense next year, and maybe that's good and maybe that's bad. And that's the hard part about the tight end position is, I don't know how you feel about this. As much as I love having a good tight end, it is one of the most, arguably of all of our fantasy positions, it is the most coach, scheme, quarterback dependent positions of all of the ones we have. I'm a big like talent above situation guy until it comes to the tight end, and then I'm like, yeah, I kind of just have to deal with whatever they give me.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. I'm there too, where it's just like, man, this guy's good, but get ready to learn left tackle, buddy.
100%. All right, let's get to these two guys because both of these guys have been really fun for redraft and dynasty the past couple of weeks. And Rico Dowdle, last year he was in Dallas and he had a solid season. They weren't able to get the deal done for whatever reason. Goes to Carolina, backing up Chuba Hubbard, and for the most part, Chuba Hubbard was the lead back, the key cog. He gets hurt, and it's a starter's worst nightmare where you're like, oh, I got to miss a couple games, and the guy behind you come in and Wally pips you and just eats, just absolutely eats. And he has back-to-back weeks of 30-plus point games, 39.9 this week, just absolutely demolished Dallas. Now, I will say this. The two defenses he went up against, Miami and Dallas, arguably two of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. But I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing a college defense. You're giving me 30-plus points. I'm noticing. So how are you feeling about Rico Dowdle moving forward, and how cumbersome is this going to be once Chuba comes back?
Monkey's out of the barrel, man. I've already said that, like last week, I mentioned that Chuba Hubbard's in danger because it's not just that Rico Dowdle had a good game when he had opportunity. He just looks explosive. And I'm not taking anything away from what Hubbard has done and what he is to this organization because they clearly value him. But I just don't see that explosiveness. I don't see him contributing the way that Dowdle did in the passing game. So that low-end RB1 value from Hubbard, I think, is gone right now. And Dowdle, if you could buy him, depending on what you're at, I think this is very, very much real. It's just like the outside runs that happened a lot of times. And again, it's the Cowboys, but I just don't think that Hubbard would have done as much damage It's really unfortunate because I feel like this is the year where I bought in on certain players a year too late. It's like, all right, I guess this Hubbard guy is for real. And then he gets hurt, and then Dowdle, like you said, Wally pipped him, and I'm like, oh wow, I think Hubbard RB1 season is gone.
Yeah, and for those that don't, I realize sometimes I make old man references that people might not know. Wally Pipp, the guy that was in there before Lou Gehrig at first base for the New York Yankees, and we've never heard of Wally Pipp other than the fact that he got replaced by Lou Gehrig. So that being said, I tend to be with you on this one. I still think, I shouldn't say I think, I still worry. I think that's the better term to use. I still worry that this could be messy going forward. I don't know that I'm confident that they give Rico, 80% of the touches or something like that to really say like, hey, you are our featured back. So, but I do think when Chuba comes back that it is going to be Rico as the lead back. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to see. A, what happens when they play a little bit better of defenses, but two, what happens when Chuba comes back. So are you looking to sell Rico high? Are you looking to buy him because you think this is fairly sustainable as far as fantasy production goes? Or is it just kind of like, if you have him, good job. If you don't, just kind of leave it alone?
I think he is a I don't want to call it desperation, because you made the good point where it's just going to be uglier, where I think it's going to be a poor man's version of the Tampa Bay backfield, where and this isn't me like doing comp for comp, like a lazy one. Dave Canales is the one who started the two-headed monster back there in the Buccaneers. I think it's going to be more of that. So I think he's a contender buy, or he's just mainly kind of a hold, or you're selling high. If I'm a contender, I'm probably just, or excuse me, if I'm a rebuilder, I'm probably just selling Dowdle at this point, because, if I get a second round pick in a better draft class, that's fine. And especially if I'm a really bad rebuilder, a running back like Rico Dowdle shouldn't really be on my team, and I'd rather maybe play for a wide receiver next season, or running back class isn't that great. We already know that, but at least you can get some more chips in for future talent.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense, and I think I'm in a similar boat. He's going to be a very situation-dependent player as far as if I'm buying, if I'm selling, if I'm holding, because in rebuild situations, I don't want those running backs that at best have a 1 to 2 year window, unless you see this being a true, no, he's going to take over. It's going to be his job, and there's going to be nobody that's getting more than 30% of the touches in this offense from him. That's one thing, but you have Chuba there. They did draft Trevor Etienne, although I don't think he's a huge factor in all this. But you still have the weird Jonathan Brooks thing just lingering out there long term.
I forgot he was a person.
Right? Like that's the thing. Like, I have no idea what to do with that. Does he ever play football again? Maybe not. Does he come back and it was like, wow, he got to rest for a really long time and looks fresh. Like, I have no idea what to do with that. They did use a second round pick on him, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So I think that's the thing. If you just want more clarity, it is just kind of easier to move on. But if you're a contender, look, sometimes those are the players you can get. And so, yeah, I would love to add a Bijan Robinson to my team. I would love to add, a big time wide receiver. I'd love to, but those guys aren't always available. So sometimes you have to settle for, can I get a small upgrade or give myself some depth with a guy like Rico? So totally understand that. Let's get to our number one guy. And man, the vibes are right with Jaxson Dart, man, going against Philly this past week. And the way that him and Scatterboo, I mean, they look like the Mighty Duck Bash brothers, dude. Like they really do. They are just out there being total frat bros, loving life, and just breaking faces. Like that's what they're doing. Jaxson Dart, 23.6 PPR points in this game. And he's had over 20 points per game average since he's been out there. So very, very startable asset. And long-term, like, Jagger, tell me if I am doing this maybe a little too premature, but he's already going to be, when I do my next rankings update this week, he's going to be inside my top 36 for super flex rankings. I believe in everything I'm seeing, and he's doing it without his best asset in this offense and Malik Neighbors. So am I crazy? Am I doing this too quickly, or is everybody else just late?
Everyone is late, including me. I'm all in on the creatine Caucasians, man. I'm all in on it, dog. Like, I love it. It's Jaxson Dart is one. I remember I was on a show with Jax Falcone or Scott over at the Undroppables, to give him credit, where I was just like, man, Jaxson Dart is grading out incredibly well to me. And then, like, again, this is year 4 of me, like, officially rookie scouting, having like a in-depth process. And then when you have someone like Jaxson Dart who is grading high, and you're like, no one else is saying this, you feel like a little bit scared. And I'm like, I'm okay to admit that. Never again, man, because I should have way more Jaxson Dart than I have now. And like you said, if you already put him in the top 36, monkey's out of the barrel, and it's going to be hard to buy him at this point. I have one particular team. I always talk about my 2 Devy teams because they're the only ones that I have. I had Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Lamar Jackson, and Jaxson Dart at one point. And I sold Jaxson Dart because I was just like, you know, I have 3 guys who are established. I got Brock Purdy, Captain Useless on my bench over here, and I'm really eating that regretty spaghetti. But to your point, analytically or statistically, he rushes the football and he can throw it. He has a wide receiver, and it looks like Brian Daboll isn't broke. He just couldn't do it with Daniel Jones and whatever that he had back there. Tommy DeVito ain't it, y'all. Shocker. So it seems like New York's got their boy, you know?
Yeah. It's a fun time right now for young quarterbacks, because you look at him and you look at Drake May, another guy kind of in a similar boat that's just upsetting big time teams, playing well each and every week, running the ball, throwing the ball, doing things that you're like, oh, bro, did you see that? That was crazy. Like both of these guys are kind of out there right now. It's a fun time for these young quarterbacks. I know Drake May, for a lot of people, is in the conversation of, you know, top 12. Some have him in, some don't. I do. I have him inside the top 12 for Superflex rankings.
Overall or QB?
No, overall, my guy.
Okay. I was making sure. I was like, top 12 QB? It's like, what
I was like, he should have been a while ago. What are you doing? No, he's my number 9 overall player in Superflex right now. So I have him very high. But kind of looking at him, and you could go by quarterbacks or you can go by overall position, whatever you're feeling. But like, where are you, at least if you haven't kind of updated your rankings yet? Where are you at least having that conversation of, do I put him in here? Do I put him in here? Like, where is that line for you right now?
It's pretty formulaic for me. I've already kind of spoiled what that is. He has a rushing floor, so he's automatically jumping guys. Like, again, Brock Purdy hasn't taken a snap. If he continues all season long like this, if this continues, at what point are we talking about him ahead of Joe Burrow? I know that's nuts, guys, but again, it's rushing floor. It matters. I'm not talking about him as an NFL QB being better than Joe Burrow, but the stuff that gives us our fantasy points, he's really good at. And again, I think that Brian Daboll can scheme up these runs consistently, and they are building an offense around him where now, if you think about it, we've seen Wan'Dale Robinson sort of blossom into more of a well-rounded receiver, and Malik Neighbors comes back. That's a good 1-2 punch out receiver. If Theo Johnson continues to be something, at least like reliable, that is exciting. They've already tried to improve that offensive line before Jaxson Dart got there. You know, Andrew Thomas is a good left tackle. They got 2 running backs. This is an exciting offense now, and that's gross to say as a Giants fan. It's weird to say, you know, like they've been so bad in Shadow Realm awful for so long that I think that now we need to have some serious conversations.
No, I'm in the same boat. He is gonna, and I'm excited to do my rankings this week, because when I'm looking at it, and actually while we're talking, I'm gonna pull them up right now, because I want to like kind of go through these names and see, like, man, do I really want to, and that's the hard part, is I don't want to be overreactionary. But sometimes you see things and guys put up numbers, but you're like, there's something scary about that. There's something fake about that. There's something whatever. And then there's other times where you see it and you're like, no, that's legit. Like that passes the sniff test there. So all right, I'm pulling up my quarterbacks right now. Let's see. Let's go down to quarterback. Let's start at all right. So you already said Brock Purdy. I think I'm easily comfortable putting him ahead of Kyler Murray. Are you?
I mean, yeah, I got to give up on that guy.
Yeah. It's tough, but I got to. Jared Goff.
Yeah, Russian floor, baby. Like, it's not even close for me.
Here's where it gets close. I'm gonna have a hard time deciding between these two guys: Jaxson Dart, Jordan Love.
Dart for me.
Dart for you, okay?
Yeah.
And then I have him at 10. I have Joe Burrow at 10 right now at quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Burrow and Herbert. That range is where I'm starting to really think about it. And I'm gonna be honest. Someone gave me great advice when I first started doing rankings, where I was just like, well, do I do this? He's like, who are you clicking the button on first? Like, who are you clicking the button on first? I'm going to click the button on Jaxson Dart. I am. It's just, it's youth, and he rushes the football. So,
what about Caleb and Baker?
That's where I can't do it yet. I don't think I
can yet either.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we're in the same boat. So yeah, he's probably going to be moving up to quarterback 10 for me overall. Because he's right there. Mahomes is there, Herbert's there, and then I have Drake May at 5 right now.
To put it into practice of where I'm at, if we were doing a super flex draft, if I'm in that range where I draft a wide receiver round 1, and at the turn, if Jaxson Dart's there, boom, my QB1. If I'm doing a startup,
so it'd be like
right
Justin Jefferson at 9, and then you would take
Jaxson Dart. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
And I feel pretty good. That's basically that's where I was at with Drake May, like this startup season. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, where I was like, okay, I got my wide receiver, Drake May, QB1, QB2. I'll figure that out. That's basically where I'm at.
So I have a rebuild that was one of those tear it down to the studs type rebuild situation, and it was interesting because the only kind of holdover was I traded my quarterback for Drake May plus. And I was like, I'm taking on a lot of risk here, but I really believe in this kid, what he did without basically any weapons last year and all that. And then I drafted Jaxson Dart with one of the picks. And I was like, man, I have the highest, the most boom bust quarterback room right now, because I could be thrilled about this in 6 months, or I could be devastated. Now, fortunately, I'm very, very happy with having both those guys in the same squad. But definitely, I was carrying a lot of risk. But hey, Nerd Herd, want to tell you about a show that we've been doing live on YouTube, where we go over your teams and we talk about how to fix your broken roster. It's called Roster Rescue. We do it live every single Monday at noon Eastern time. And if you want to get a part of that, just head to our Dynasty Nerds homepage, go under the store tab, and you'll find Roster Rescue right there. Perfect opportunity to get your rosters in shape before the season or even in the middle of the season to make sure that you can win a championship. Speaking of risk, we're going to move from the guys that were fun to talk about and are exciting and moving in the right direction to some guys where it's looking a little dark and a little depressing right now. So let's go ahead and get to these guys. We have follower this week, didn't quite make the cut. David Njoku. He's only had one double-digit game this week or so far this season. On top of that, it looks like we mentioned him in the beginning, might be a knee thing here. We don't know what that is yet. We'll kind of have to wait and see. Harold Fannin is obviously very, very involved. And we're not far away from maybe seeing what Shedeur Sanders can do as the starting quarterback of the Browns. So all of that is very, very messy right now in Cleveland. But let's get to the guys that did make the cut. At 3, we have Juwan Johnson. There was some hype around Juwan Johnson going into the season. Not crazy. It wasn't like he had a hive or anything like that, but there was some love for Juwan Johnson. And then back-to-back 15-point games to start the season on a year where tight end was booty butt cheeks. People were getting pretty excited. But we've had 3 straight games under 6 points for Juwan Johnson. So it seemed to be just kind of a lucky streak to start the year. Juwan Johnson, for you, any interest in him at all? Like, are you trying to buy low as a faller? Is it just like this offense kind of sucks? I don't trust anything. Like, I don't know what to do with him.
I was never trying to buy high. It was never real, guys. Like
Sure.
this is like, Juwan Johnson as a fantasy asset never existed for me, kind of thing. Where it's just like everyone's like, "Go get Juwan Johnson." Even in a redraft, I was just like, "I'm good on that." You know, like I'll let someone else fall for that. 'Cause Taysom Hill wasn't even around for a little bit. I know, like, I'm not saying that Taysom Hill is an asset either, but it just seems ugly. And I only kind of ranked him as a faller so I could tell everyone, you know, we knew that. Like, did you really expect this to be a thing? You know?
To stay. He gone. All right, so we can move on from him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We kind of have a tie for our number one of the week, but I'll break the tie. I'll let my guys stay at number one, or the first time we might not have like a guy, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's talk about Justin Fields. I had him lower than you and Rich. Rich also ranked, even though he's not able to be on the show. He did rank as well. And the reason I ranked him a little bit lower as a faller is because he already fell for me. Like he had already
You can't go too far.
right. Like we were kind of at the point where I was like, yeah, I've kind of given up. Like, and this is from somebody that has more or less been on the Justin Fields bandwagon. Like I've been coming up with excuses for him. I've been coming up with reasons why it hasn't been working. And there has to be a point where you just have to say he's on his third team. This is year 5. And we're still seeing the same issues and the same problems that we saw from him as a rookie. And at some point, you run out of excuses to make. So only 4.9 points this week. I get it. Denver's a solid defense, and it was an overseas game. And like there's definitely more excuses I could load into the chamber. But I'm done. Like I'm tired of making excuses. I think he's just not a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, man, this was hard for me. I've been like the Justin Fields guy, like supporter on there. And it's like you said, I'm just tired of making excuses. You know, like now I'm just like, well, it was London and the Broncos have a good team and Garrett Wilson got hurt and blah, blah, blah. It's just, I'm just done, man. Like it's frustrating. It's already too late. I feel like for me at this point where like I posted on Twitter and like spoilers, guys, you know what I'm ranking Justin Fields as? I'm asking for a gift card to Jersey Mike's. That's what I want for Justin Fields at this point. I would rather have delicious, hot, steamy meat, and cheese, and veggies on bread than own Justin Fields. I would rather have 30 minutes of a very enjoyable, acceptable sandwich than Justin Fields all season long at this point. I'm at the point where I'm just, the Jets are never going to be good, man. Like how Aaron Glenn handled the second half of that of that game, or excuse me, going into the second half, that last 2-minute drill, Garrett Wilson losing it. I was Garrett Wilson. I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening? Why are we letting the clock run out? There's just a lot of bad, and even you're going to get these spike games, whatever. It's just kind of over, man. I just can't see. I can't see another team saying, I want to build my team around Justin Fields. Maybe he's a high-end backup at this point. It's just done. And I'm sorry as a fantasy analyst that I said, this is the year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I have him on a couple teams, and some of them are even contenders. And it's fun when he's getting you the 20-something points and he's rushing for 90 yards and on top of what he's doing through the air. And it's great. But this was already a situation that when you looked at it, you're like, is this really going to work? Like, this is already a team that is questionable. And then they lose Vera Tucker right before the season starts. And then there's we don't know who our starting running back is. Maybe it's Allen. Maybe it's Brees. Maybe we even have Isaiah Davis involved. And there's just so much blah that's going on right now. And I want to like the kid, because the weird part for me was he was one of the few guys where in college, usually it's, maybe we'll see if he's maybe a little bit better athlete in the NFL and uses his legs more and blah, 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 and different things like that. But I didn't have any huge question marks about his passing. It seems like it completely regressed from what he was doing in college to the NFL. Like, it just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. He lost something somewhere. Maybe it was confidence when he didn't go top, 5 anymore, or I don't know. But that is going to go down as one of the most hyped quarterback classes that has been just an absolute turd burger thing. Yeah. Oh, man.
Terrible. Trey Lance, Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence is the best QB out of that class still. Let's just say that out loud, guys. It's not so good.
And is Mac Jones number 2?
That's another reason. Like, I almost wanted to put Brock Purdy on this list. I was like, guys, should we talk about this? So it could be, could be Mac Jones. Like, to be honest, I think Mac Jones deserves a job more than Justin Fields now.
Oh, 100%.
I'm just being for real. If I'm one of these teams that, especially if you're going out off a Shanahan offense, if I'm the Dolphins right now, that Tua, let's play scenario. Let's say there's a world where Mike McDaniels keeps his job. Probably not. It's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
You gotta yeet Tua because there's other issues going on with Tua that are a problem there. I would call Mac Jones, who's played in a Shanahan system, can get the ball on time and has a bigger arm right now. That's a real question that we should talk about. We need to have a whole weird episode where we talk about weird assets that could be something that's like Mac Jones.
I'm down. I am totally down to do it. Speaking of weird assets, good luck trying to figure out what to do if you own either starting running back in Seattle. Right now we have 2 guys in Seattle, and it is the truest of timeshares right now. And honestly, I don't know that I want either one. Right now, when you look at the Seattle backfield, you have Zach Charbonnet, who's actually getting slightly more as far as the snap percentage goes, but you have Kenneth Walker, who's the more exciting fantasy asset. And really right now, they're just like, you guys are both just okay, and we're just going to throw to JSN and win games that way. That's kind of where they're at. Is like, all we need is Sam Darnold, enough time, and JSN, and we're good.
Yeah. That's what he's like, which one do you start? I'm like, that's the neat part. You don't. It's just that's how I feel about it. And
hard pass.
Yeah. I don't even think it's just this backfield, the situation, or the talent. It's that we saw one preseason game against backups. We're like, that offensive line is fixed, and it's just not. It's just not, So there's not a lot of room. And at this point, you're hoping for a Zach Charbonnet touchdown or Kenneth Walker catches or a big play. That's not a good place to be in, realistically. You can't really sell these guys. Maybe I could talk myself into buying Kenneth Walker. Okay. Maybe I got a little bit of that Cam Scatterboo pre-onset CTE coming in, because I still might buy Kenneth Walker. It just seems like as a contender, you're in a bad spot if you built around Kenneth Walker. So
the weird part too is the one typical concern from Kenneth Walker has been the only thing that hasn't been holding him back so far this year. And it's usually injuries. It's usually like, all right, when's he going to miss a stretch or 2 because there's another soft tissue issue, or there's another groin issue, or there's another, like, whatever. Like, and so far he stayed healthy. So that hasn't even been like the typical issue is not been the problem so far. So that's the scary part is, what if that crops back up? Honestly, that might be good news because then you don't have to start him. And then people who have Charbonnet know that he's at least maybe startable. Like, but right now, this whole situation is just absolutely ugly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up our risers and fallers episode for today. Curious who you guys have out there. Feel free to put in the comments. Who's your risers? Who's your fallers, guys that you're interested in, or guys that you're like, yeah, maybe he's a faller, but that doesn't mean he's not a buy. And I do want to emphasize that. Just because a guy's a riser doesn't mean he's not a sell. Just because a guy's a faller doesn't mean he's not a buy. They can both be in both categories. It's just, where are they moving right now in people's rankings? Where are they moving in the general consensus of the community? So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a rating and a review. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.